Hey there, Hofstra fans, and welcome here inside the WB Mason Coaches Report on GoHofstra.com. I'm Julian Coltree, and joined, as always, by the head coach of the Hofstra Pride Field Hockey team, Kathy Angelis. Coach, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Well, last week we'll talk a little bit about that before we actually get into the games. 1-1 with a victory over Yale and a loss to Rider. What you think of the way you guys played?
Well, obviously we're disappointed in our loss with Rider, and I thought we played a great game, and unfortunately we couldn't execute between the circles. So, and that was the difference in the match. Sunday, different outcome. Unfortunately, they tied it up with 9 minutes to go, and we had to go to overtime. But I'm really happy how we performed, and I'm certainly proud of winning in overtime.
Now, something I guess you could say as far as this weekend goes was resiliency. You guys trailed 1-0 in both contests, and you came back to force overtime in the two contests. So how does that kind of play into the way that you guys play, even though you did get a loss in one of those games?
Well, that's the word that resiliency has been with us since day one, and even since our first match with LaSalle when they scored first. So we've been able to rebound and come back, and that's not a setback for us. So that's positive for this young group, and it's great to one, have the resiliency, but two, have the outcome come in your favor, and certainly it did for Yale.
Now, for that first matchup against Rider, get a little bit more in depth with that. Big goal for Charlotte Lur, her first collegiate goal. How important was that for the captain to be able to get on the score sheet finally in her second year?
Right, well, it's huge, and certainly it's off the corner, and we've been working on corners, although we had 11 quarters in that game and only got one off. But I think it's a great confidence booster for her. She works a tremendous amount of time on the corner unit, and when we see execution happen, we know the time that pays off. So really excited, and also being her first goal is also a little more exciting.
As far as that game went, you guys obviously did tie it up late, but you wound up falling to Rider in overtime. What did that kind of help bring to that game against Yale when you went into overtime in that one?
Well, it hurt, and we wanted to leave the field with no regrets, and we had some regrets in that first game against Rider. So on Sunday's match, when we went into overtime, I think every player that we put out there was just going to play as hard as they can, with as much heart as we can, to make sure that we're going to come out on top. And it was a great display of pure energy and pure mental toughness when we were really pretty fatigued at that point.
Now, Sunday you guys take on Yale. You get the victory in overtime. What you like that the team did?
Well, we had a great game plan, and we followed it. Yale moves the ball very well, but we competed every minute that we were out there, and it was a truly exciting game on both sides. But most importantly, I thought we had the fortitude and execution in the circle, and to be able to finish and put in 4 goals. So that's great. We haven't put in that many goals since LaSalle, so I think that was huge.
Absolutely huge game for Janelle Boileau, and she gets CAA Player of the Week honors this past week for the field hockey in the CAA. So something that she really hadn't had for a couple of games was that goal scoring. She was doing a nice job assisting, moving the ball up, but what does it mean for you and your team to be able to finally get her on the score sheet now?
Well, I mean, it's exciting to have her come back and get some stats for us. The great thing about this year is that we have a lot of people who can score, and so there's a lot of parity in that. But she played a fantastic game outside of the goals, and the striker line in general worked extremely well together, which also really helped in the factor of Janelle's goals. And certainly, she wouldn't have got that if it wasn't from a total team effort. And I think if we can continue to play as a team, that's going to happen, and we're going to get players certainly like Janelle's capability to score goals. And in any given day, 3 goals is certainly, it's a lot, but it's definitely doable and definitely can happen again.
Now, something we've talked about all year is the play of the freshmen. Of course, on the defensive back line, you have Sonny Davenport, you have Carissa Whitmer, and up top you have Stella Schern. But somebody who we haven't really talked about a lot is Claudia Marin-Samper, and she did a great job in Yale. But what do you like about her game plan? What does she bring to the table? And why do you think she can be one of these top freshmen in this class?
Well, she has extremely strong 1v1 skills, generally comes out with the foul and gets the call, and that's really important, especially in attacking third. So even if she's going at speed and she gets fouled, she's able to win the call and then advance into attacking third, and that makes her extremely dangerous because of her 1v1 attacking skills. But on the opposite side, she's a great flyer for us on the defensive corner. She has a great stick, as you can see, not just tipping, but on the defensive side. And that's something that we've been really working on, our defensive corner unit. We're still making several changes, and it's not where I want it to be, not where the team wants it to be, but she's helping out in that factor.
Now, as far as a couple weeks into the season now goes, you've had a chance to kind of mix and match, throw a couple lineups up there. What do you think is the greatest strength of your lineup, and what might be the greatest weakness at this point?
Right. Well, I think our strength at the moment is our ability to move the ball from the backfield to the midfield. I think we still need to work on the weakness side. We still need to work on the connecting with the striker line and staying with them, so it's not just pass it to the striker and they go to goal. We really need to continue to work in the attacking third together, and it's getting better, and clearly we were able to do that in the last couple of games. But that's something as we go into this week's schedule and then on to the CAAs, it's got to get better and it's got to get stronger.
Now, something that you guys have coming up, the last game of this 5-game homestand, which spanned about a week and a half, 2 weeks at this point now, University of Richmond. They're a tough team. They've lost a couple of games against top opponents in the country by 1 goal or so. So what are you going to look for against them?
Well, this is a big game for us, and this is certainly a very high caliber team, and just like you said, with their schedule, and they just took University of Virginia to double overtime, sudden death, 1v1 strokes, which is the furthest you can go. So we know the capability of this team, but the most important thing is how Hofstra, how are we going to step up to play, and how can we reach our potential in this match, and that is going to be our focus for Friday, and not. We know what Richmond's capable of doing, but we also know what we need to do in order to come out on top.
And you guys finally hit the road again. Before we get into the contest against the University of Massachusetts, what's it like when you go for these 2-week spans of just being at home and then you have to hit the road again? And any sort of changes in terms of lifestyle for you and the players?
Well, it's always challenging, and certainly when we've been at home a lot, we're in a comfort zone. But this is good for us. We do need to get away. We need to get on the road. It gives me an opportunity and the staff to spend a little more time with the players that I can't do during the week.
Yep.
And that type of bonding is something that you almost really only get besides preseason on the road trip. So this is going to be really good for us as we move into the CAA.
And we move up to that matchup now, a top-ranked University of Massachusetts squad. What are you going to see from them, and how do you pull off an upset?
Well, again, we need to play to our potential, and that's playing our capability and what we can do, and we're going to need to do some bigger things, and we're going to have to execute at a higher level, and certainly defense is going to be huge, and especially in a pressing game. But really excited to get up to UMass. It's my alma mater. I haven't been up there to play against them since I was coaching at LaSalle, so I'm excited to get there, and I know the team's really excited to get up to Amherst.
So final question for you, Coach. What do you think the main key for these 2 games this week is going to be?
Well, importantly, we win as a team, we lose as a team, and it's a total team effort. Every single person on this team is valuable, and we need to use everyone the best we can, and I think if we do that, we got a good chance for the weekend.
Head coach of the Hofstra Preview hockey team, Kathy Angelis. Coach, thanks as always for the time. And Hofstra fans, remember, you can tune into the WB Mason Coach Report each and every week, only here on GoHofstra.com.